Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Everybody, happy Friday. Today is Friday, Juneteenth, and perhaps you are watching me from home today because it is a holiday. It's a holiday that recognizes that after Emancipation Proclamation, individuals who were enslaved in Texas were not informed that they were no longer slaves for 2 years after they had received freedom. And so today we honor that error in American history. And today I want to talk to you about aging while Black. And you're all saying, but Deb, you're white. And you're right. And it is something that is also going to make this conversation a little more important. So stay tuned. I am always happy to say that we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We could not do this without the support of our sponsors. So a huge shout out to 321 Media, United Healthcare, Rhode Island College, Social Enterprise Greenhouse, and especially CareForth. CareForth can offer you the opportunity to be paid to care for your loved one. Here's a message from CareForth.
Caregiving, first of all, is the most selfless act. You're just on 24/7. In order to do all that, you need someone to make sure that you, as the caregiver, are taking care of yourself. And nobody cares for your family like you do. You love them. The whole program is amazing to get paid for something that you would do even if you weren't getting paid. You're not just one person, but you have a whole team behind you, and we're all here to help.
So I think a lot of times when we consider changes in society in relation to equity and inclusion and diversity, we think of those as things that have happened long ago. And we don't necessarily think of the impact of racism and systemic barriers may have had on aging experience and on our health. We think of it as like way long ago in the past. But the impacts of systemic racism are something that impacts our older adults as well as some of our younger adults right now. If you think about it, was only as far as I believe it was the 1980s, 1990s, that there was something called redlining, where if you wished to purchase a house and you were an African-American individual, you couldn't get a mortgage unless you were trying to buy a house in certain areas that perhaps were less desirable. You can look up the details in the history. Google is really good for that. It was not that long ago in Rhode Island history that houses were burned when they were owned by individuals of color because those people were not wanted. If you wonder when and where that was, it was only in the 50s. That's not really all that long ago. And you're saying, are you sure, Deb? Look up Scalloptown in Rhode Island. Read the history. Now, when you think about the experiences of someone who might have been born in the 30s or 40s, individuals who experienced firsthand separate and unequal education, separate and unequal healthcare, and we say, oh, it's so much better now. Well, there's lasting impacts on health when you've encountered that kind of situation. For example, if you have grown up in an area that is less desirable because that's all that society would allow you to live in, then perhaps you did not have access to adequate food. Indeed, right now, today, there are areas of Rhode Island that are food deserts. They don't have regular grocery stores that offer a full selection of fruits and vegetables and healthy food. We are seeing a lot of opportunities to cut programs that allow organizations to provide proper nutrition. Some of our food programs into our schools are being cut, things like that. And we don't necessarily always think about the impact on our health. So say you grow up in an area that geographically is less desirable, and now you have perhaps less access to adequate food or appropriate healthy food. That can lead to health consequences, an increase in, say, asthma and lung diseases. It's found that if you are consuming food that's not necessarily great for you, and I can't offer you legal, medical, estate planning advice, but overconsumption of improper food can lead to diabetes, obesity, and those things can lead to greater health consequences. Diabetes can lead to heart disease, and diabetes and heart disease often leads to stroke, particularly in the African American community. African Americans are 50% more likely to develop dementia, specifically Alzheimer's disease. And when you think about the combination of diabetes and heart disease and the risk of stroke and the impact that that has on one's brain, it can sometimes be tracked back to what has been the history of where have you been? What has been your opportunity to access the healthcare that you needed or the nutrition that you needed? There are a lot of research papers out there in regards to end of life and long-term care experiences of individuals who are African American and differences in access to care and treatment that are really important for individuals to be aware of and to have conversations about. But not everything is doom and gloom. In the African American community, for many generations, I would say going back to the start of the country, well before that, there is a sense of community, there is a sense of family, and a work towards collective good that has a protective factor. Individuals are looking out for each other. They have experienced a system that does not look out for them. And so for our community, they look out for each other. And that is a benefit that many communities do not have, unfortunately. And as we look at Juneteenth, and we think that it's something that was something so long ago, but it gives us a nice holiday, a 3-day weekend in the summer, and we look at it that way. It's important to remember that some of the systems that were in place are still in place today that cause disparities around healthcare, around access to adequate nutrition, that cause barriers to transportation to get to the doctors. And sometimes those barriers are unfortunately impacting our communities of color, our friends and our family who are not looking like me. And so I want to make sure that everyone knows that here at RI Elder Info, we recognize and celebrate the diversity of every human being who is aging. We come to this work with humility and an eagerness to learn history and culture every day, and to really understand how history and culture and society interact and impact aging and impact the experience of health and transportation and housing and finance and more than welcome, more than happy to come out and have conversations so that we can have a shared learning of what resources are available out there to help support everyone to remain in the community for as long as possible, and to have a better understanding for other people's experiences of this world. So as we celebrate Juneteenth and we enjoy this beautiful summer day, or almost summer, because summer's not actually until Sunday, remember that as we get older, our whole historical experience impacts what it means to age. And so as we honor Juneteenth, we want to recognize Black and aging is very different for many individuals, and we honor that space. We recognize some of those challenges. We're eager to learn more, and we are eager to share the knowledge that we have. So I hope you all get out to see this beautiful weekend that is about to begin. I look forward to seeing you all again next time. If you'd like to have a community conversation, reach out to me. I am more than happy to have the conversation with you. Give you a presentation on what's out there, how you might be able to set things up to protect what you've worked so hard for over your lifetime. Give me a call, shoot me an email. You know where to find me. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, be well and be kind.
321 is about so much more than sports. We're about community, family, small businesses, nonprofits, and sharing stories that deserve to be heard. 321, what's your story?